Good evening, VC. Crazy Jimmy here. Got a pretty cool video for you. This is going to be like a combo video filled with cheap heat. I know everyone loves cheap heat, especially cheap like Psych and Acid and country rock and like what I think are kind of criminally overlooked or unknown bands or artists that are their records are just for whatever reason, they don't break the bank, which is great. We all love that. And I do have a little bit of heat in here as well. And I actually have, at the end, I'm going to put a cherry on top of this video with a record I've been looking for. Some of you know me, know I've been looking for this record because I've been shouting from the rooftops that I missed out on it the last time it popped up, and it doesn't pop up often, so, I was kicking myself, especially considering I'm from the area this gentleman is. So, like, I'm in the honey pot, the honey hole, where if you're going to ever find one of these, you're going to find it here where I live. So, a couple of these, actually, you're going to find where I live. So, yeah, let's get to it. So, a lot of this stuff I found at a couple different record stores. First of all, I want to shout out a couple record shops. The first one I want to shout out is Music Connection in Manchester, New Hampshire. Just, phenomenal ownership. John and Kevin own it. John runs it and owns it pretty much. Kevin's like a silent partner. And Gavin is pretty much managing the Manchester store, while John, the owner, is at the other location. They just recently opened within the last 6 months or so. So, found some really great stuff at Music Connection recently. A lot of cheap heat. And, I just want to thank Gavin and John for buying these collections and then putting them out at reasonable prices. So that's number one. And then number two, I want to thank Joe at Joe's Albums in Worcester, Massachusetts. Joe, not only did I find some really good cheap heat at Joe's Albums just today, Joe took really good care of me with something I've been looking for quite a while. Something that I know he probably didn't want to part with, but he did because he knows it's going to a collection where it's going to live its life out, and I'm going to be the custodian of this record until I'm gone, and then someone else can become a custodian unless my wife wants to keep it. So, but that's kind of the story there. So let's get started. We'll start with the first one I found in the dollar bin. This is Buck Acre and Morning Comes. And this is, I want to say this was 1974 on this MCA rainbow label there. Sorry for the graininess and the glare, but now the reason I actually own, this is a double now, I actually own another copy of this, but my copy had like a lopped off corner, and those of you who know me, I hate like lopped off corners. I can deal with a saw cut. I don't mind saw cuts too much. I don't mind hole punches, especially the BBs. I don't like the big massive holes, but corners cut off is where I draw the line. I typically will never buy a record with a corner cut off the sleeve. It's just something. It's just the way I am. Some of you are probably like shaking your head. It's going, look, it's about the record. It's not about the sleeve. But for me, it's about the art, the collectability, and the record. So like it's all there for me. That's why I collect. I love music, and I also love fine music and fine things with music. So I don't want cut off corners. This, if you're wondering, if you never heard this, you might have seen it around, but if you never heard it, this is really good country rock. In the vein, I mean, it came out at that sweet spot time. A lot of good AM gold country rock, good harmonies. There's a good mixture here of like what you'd get from the Eagles, and then some of the heavier stuff, maybe Skinner, but it's not really southern rock. It's more country rock than southern rock. So, and those of you who know me, you know I love country pop, country rock, alternative country from this time period. So there you go. Great find there. Super happy to have it. All right. Next up, this one I found at Joe's Albums. Was really excited to see this. This is Carl Hakansson, Retribution. And this is a private pressing from 1984. And Carl put out 3 private pressings back in the early 80s. There's the label right there. And yeah, the first one he put out was, pretty much like Crosby, Stills and Nash type folk rock, and little bit of loner folk in there as well. Here's the back there. And there's not a lot to listen to online for this, so I kind of took a chance on it, knowing what his other 2 sound like. So I'm hoping this is similar. I haven't listened to it yet. I just got it today, but I'm hoping this is similar to his first 2, and it's got that cool loner acid folk vibe to it. But yeah, you don't see too many of these days for sure. So when you do see one of these originals, you want to grab it. And I don't think it's ever been repressed anyway. So, all right. This here was a double, but it's an upgrade. So I posted my other one online, which is also in the shrink, but the shrink's a little tattered. I know. It's crazy. The Electric Prunes, and this is their 3rd Mass in F minor. So, and it's on that tricolor steamboat. Reprise or reprise? I'm not sure how to pronounce it. We'll just call it reprise. It could be reprise too, so I'm sure someone will correct me. But I really like this. This is more of a direction of Axelrod, who kind of came in and brought the material and brought the vibe and brought the concept to the band. So I know the band was none too happy with it, but I actually think it sounds great. It's very psychedelic in its own way. So if you haven't heard this 3rd album from the Prunes, definitely check it out. It's pretty psych. Here's some cheap heat as well, just like the Prunes. This is Michael Kamen, New York Rock. Actually never heard of this. It was at Joe's Albums, flipping through. $4.99. I like the cover. So, cool gatefold cover. So I snuck a peek and listened to some of the snips online, and I liked it. So very definitely psychedelic pop coming from this artist. 1973. It's also in that sweet spot. I love the early 70s to mid 70s, so you can't go wrong there. But for the price, Michael Kamen, New York Rock. Check it out. It's his first one, 1973. Sutherland Brothers and Quiver, Reach for the Sky. I picked this up super cheap as well, as you could imagine. It had the hype sticker and the shrink, so I'm a sucker for a good hype sticker. But yeah, this is good, SoCal, breezy, country pop to me, with some pop as well in there mixed in. But yeah, it's really everything they did back in the early 70s was very SoCal to me. So, and I love that Laurel Canyon sound. So I'm jumping all over that. Let me continue with the cheap heat. This was really shocking how great it is. It's so good I had to pick up his first. This is his second. This is Bob Brown, not Bobby Brown, but Bob Brown. And Bob Brown played with Richie, I think it was Richie Havens in that band. And he put this second and I think last album out, Willoughby's Lament, on Stormy Forest label right there. It's a pretty cool label. Let me show you the back. Look, if you like vintage Neil Young, like Gold Rush Neil Young, my God, this is just, it's so good. I mean, this really, really brings to mind the best of Neil Young, like Gold Rush and Harvest. It's really that good. And the first one, too, is just as good. So he kind of looks like Leon Russell a little bit. But yeah, check this out. If you haven't heard of this is cheap heat all day long. You can get a nice copy in the shrink for $25. Let me show you this, the label. I think the label is pretty cool. But this has so much replay value. I actually want to play it again after this video. I think I'm going to hit it up. But super good. Like I said, if you're a fan of Neil Young and his early stuff, yeah, you're going to be all over this. All over it. You're going to like it. And you're going to thank me. Even his voice is kind of similar. He's got a nice high-pitched voice. All right. Next up, more cheap heat. Tranquility Silver. I never heard of this band. This I picked up at Music Connection last week on the Epic label. Let me show you the back. But yeah, I was shocked. I mean, this has, you know what this reminds me of? This reminded me of vintage Queen, like Night at the Opera Queen, mixed with the Beatles' Magical Mystery Tour. Not even kidding. Not even kidding. So if you're a fan of that, my God. And this is the same guy, the guy that's in this band that wrote all the music. His name is, you'll probably recognize his name, Terry Shattuck. Does anyone recognize that name, Terry Shattuck? If you were looking, I think it was, 79 or 1980, if you were looking at the credits for Olivia Newton-John's Physical, you would see Terry Shattuck's name. Here, let me show you. He wrote or co-wrote Physical for Olivia Newton-John. And I know you're thinking, wow, that sucks. I mean, that album's going to suck. It's like, no, it's not. This is high art Queen and the Beatles. You throw them in a blender. Oh, my God. 1972. They also have a self-titled album before this. And they're so inexpensive that I had to pick that up, too. I think it was like $10. This was $10. I mean, Jesus. So good. I was shocked at how good that was. And here's another one I was shocked at on how good it was. Just blown away. It's like, how have I not heard of this band? Kensington Market Aardvark. And look at that cover. It's so cool. Let me get it out of the wrapper so you can see, because I love this cover. First of all, I love whimsical covers. And this has a lot of whimsy, which really does go along with the music. What you see there is what you hear. So Kensington Market Aardvark. What you see is what you hear. And think Magical Mystery Tour Beatles, and you've got it nailed right there. Right there. And I think this was 1968. This is on the W7 label. Let me show you that for Warner Brothers. That 7 Arts label, which always produces, I mean, I don't think I've ever gotten a 7 Arts record that sounded like crap. You know, I don't know what it is, but, and here's the back, cool little rabbit in a rocking chair. You got the aardvark in the front. Beatles, man, if you love the Beatles, and even the vocals, the harmonies are just lush. Songwriting is fantastic on this. So good that I had to get the first one, and again, it was like $10. So I want to thank Music Connection for hooking me up with this amazing Beatlesque relic from the late 60s, Kensington Market. So please comment down below if you've heard of Kensington Market, because up until when I saw this album at the shop, I never heard of it. So I was like blown away. I think they're from the UK as well. Could be wrong, but all right. Next up, Ian Lloyd and Stories Traveling Underground. And first of all, let me say I love the 2 albums by Stories. Great power pop. And this is no exception. This is great power pop. And I was actually really surprised. It's got a cool little promo label there. I was surprised at how good this is, especially the second side. It's proggy and it's poppy. So, you know, it's got a little power pop going on mixed with some really good prog. I'm here for it. I'm here for it. Let me show you the inside. Really good songwriting, especially side 2. Side 2 just blew me away. There's the back, front. I mean, just the cover alone, you're looking at that cover going, yeah, $6.99. Are you kidding me? $6.99 on the Kama Sutra. And you know, everything, Kama Sutra put out so many good albums that were kind of off, left of the dial, we'll call it. So I'm a left of the dial type of guy. So yeah, $6.99. Come on. Thank you, Music Connection. We'll pop this back in. So yeah, I was really excited to, you know, I saw it, I listened to a few tracks, and like, wow, this is good. How come I haven't heard of this one? All right, we're getting into some heat soon, which I know you're all here for, but more Cheap Heat still. Got a few more. Cheap Heat, Lou Reed, Berlin. I mean, come on. I actually have 2 Lou Reeds here, and they're both, you know, right up. Actually, 3 I want to show you. They're my favorite Lou Reed. My favorite 3 Lou Reed albums. This is in the top 3. This is Berlin, just, uber personal record that you've all seen. But look, it's got the booklet in there, $15. Thank you, Music Connection, for that. Really great album, great find. Let's continue on the Lou Reed thing. Lou Reed Transformer with the hype sticker right there. So check that out. Really cool to locate this bad boy. Always, with the hype sticker, you always want to, when I see it, I'm going to grab it. And the beauty here is now I have 2 of these with the hype sticker. So, I may end up selling one. I'm not sure yet, but it's one of my, it's definitely my favorite Lou Reed album. This is number 1, and Berlin's number 3. The one I'm going to show you next is number 2 for Lou Reed, and that is Street Hassle right there. And look at that hype sticker. And so cool. Let me read the hype sticker. A brilliant new album, harrowing, ugly, a self-referential masterpiece, a stunning, incandescent triumph, the best album Lou Reed has ever done, Rolling Stone. So, I don't think it was the best he's ever done, but it's up there. So good. And what's good about this is it's different. Songwriting's strong, but I love the production on this. What he does to what they did to his vocals and how they treated his vocals on this. So cool. Brings that replay value back, which I love. Every song has a different production touch that is really interesting to me. So that's Street Hassle's number 2 for me in the Lou Reed catalog for sure. All right. I think, let's see, a few more cheap heaters. Yep. This one goes under the radar, and I'm a huge Todd Rundgren fan. This is Hall & Oates' War Babies, 1974. But you know what? This is really Hall & Oates and Todd Rundgren. It's really a throuple. Todd Rundgren produced it, and he plays on it, and he plays some of his best slide guitar work you would ever hear from him on any of his albums. One drink, hang on one second. By the way, this is Reed's Ginger Ale, which is my favorite ginger ale. It's really good. It's a natural ginger ale, no fructose corn syrup in it, and it's actually good. All right, back to this. So this was Hall. Daryl Hall wanted to do something different. He didn't want to put on another Abandoned Luncheonette. John Oates was there for it. I mean, what else is he going to do? He's Garfunkel, basically. He does have a good song on here, by the way, but 7 of these 10 songs are written by Hall, and this is a Psych, this is an acid Psych album. You'll never hear Hall & Oates more acid Psych in prog than you will on War Babies. Do yourself a favor. If you like Todd Rundgren, what he was doing with A Wizard and a True Star, I guarantee you, I promise you, you will love this album. You'll love it. This is A Wizard. This should have been the follow-up to A Wizard, a True Star, not Todd. I love Todd, but that one should have come after this. This is the follow-up with Daryl Hall singing. So, and don't get me wrong, I like Todd's vocals, but Daryl Hall is a better singer. So, we'll just put that out there. It's in the shrink, original press. Amazing, amazing album. Don't sleep on War Babies, especially if you're a Rundgren fan. You're going to be listening going, damn, that's Todd Rundgren. It sounds just like Todd Rundgren. And his slide work on that album is unbelievable. And actually, I think he lost the slide that he used on it, so he never did slide work like that again. He's gone on record to say that because he used this not a real slide. He pulled it from it was like an old computer part, believe it or not, from back in the 70s, and he used that part as a guitar slide. Unreal. Blows your mind. All right. More cheap heat, baby. Jack Grunsky, the Patience of a Sailor, and I love the cover. Just so much going on there. Nice collage. I've been on a Jack Grunsky kick, and you got to check out these labels on the Honeybee label. Really cool, and I got this for $5 sealed. Sealed. Look at this Honeybee label. Really cool. This is great folk rock. or acid folk, Honeybee. And you just can't go wrong with anything from the 70s from Grunsky. Anything. I think I showed Toronto and Buffalo Brian in my last video. Here's the back. Kind of looks like James Taylor, Walking Man, the cover for Walking Man. I don't know if that's a parody on it or what, but I guess his wife took that picture and it reminds me of that album. So, but yeah, don't sleep on Mr. Grunsky. All right. This is a long one today, so I hope you appreciate that. Got some more coming. Let's see. I want to do all the cheap heat first, and then we'll get into the good stuff. Well, it's all good. So, Mr. Jim Sullivan, die-cut sleeve, promo, white label. This guy here, he's the one that did the legendary album UFO. And then he did a few more after that, and then disappeared in the desert, like in Arizona. So we don't know if he was abducted. We don't know if he got killed. We don't know if he got lost and died. He's never been found again. But before he disappeared, he put out UFO in the late 60s, which is a masterpiece. And this also was put out. This is a die-cut sleeve, white label promo, Playboy Records. I mean, this is just as good as anything else. I mean, it's as good as UFO to me. So, and it's got that same, vibe. A little bit of Baroque, a little bit of country rock, a little bit of folk. So, yeah. And this can be had for a decent price. So, if you're looking for that original UFO, you're going to pay like a couple $1,000 for it. An original of this is, $30 to $50 depending on conditions. So, cool die cut as well. Next up, this you've all seen, but it's in the shrink with hype sticker there. The Garcia sticker. It's a clear sticker. This is his first solo album, but let's face it, Hunter and Garcia wrote most of the music on this. Side 1 is 4 songs of classic Dead. Stuff they were playing in live prior to this album even coming out in, 74, I think this came out? No, maybe this came out right after, like, the duo of American Beauty and, it's escaping me, but it's on the Olive label, Warner Brothers. Great album. This is just like another Dead album to me. But side 2, he does some real psychedelic excursions on side 2 that they would have never done on a Dead album. So that's what makes this even more special. And then, of course, there's some great songs on there. Some of the Dead's best on that album. So just because it's a Jerry Garcia solo, it's really not. Don't sleep on that if you like the Dead. And speaking of Psych, pick this up. Thank you. Music Connection in the shrink. 7 Arts. Sounds amazing. This is an upgrade. Anthem of the Sun. This is an upgrade. I think I posted my duplicate, which is also in the shrink. So if you're interested in this, I did post it on Discogs, or you can reach out and, let me know you're interested, and I'll cut you a deal. But great album from the Dead. A little more Psych. Definitely some live material on there as well. Like Alligators All Live. Amazing. All right, so I think that's it for Cheap Heat. Let's get into some heavier stuff. Moondog 2 with the little Viking hat. It's got the sample sticker there. And let me tell you, I saw this and I'm like, I was holding out. I wanted this so bad. It's like a classical pop prog masterpiece with short songs, but it flows so nice. I've been holding out on this for years, waiting for a copy either in the shrink or with no ring wear. And this pops up and no ring wear at all. I'm like, wow. I've never seen this album unless it was sealed or, in the shrink that on an auction I missed. I've never seen it this clean. So I'm like, yes, I'm pulling the trigger on that bad boy because it's clean. And that thing, I don't know what it was, but the dye they used, it just ringwear city on these. So I hate that. All right, next up, Actually, this is Cheap Pete. I missed this one. This is a double, so I'm selling my other copy that I picked up at Music Connection. This one was at Joe's Albums. It was in the shrink. It's a private press. These guys are from New Hampshire. Severance and Cassidy. Textured sleeve. And, so good. Early 70s. Reminds me of, like, it's acid folk and folky. Reminds me of Simon and Garfunkel, for sure. And the songwriting is amazing. Private press on this. I'm actually shocked that this wasn't in the Acid Archives, but maybe it'll be in Volume 3. And the boys actually signed it right there. So I'm like, yeah. I usually don't care about signatures, but that's just a bonus for this. So yeah, I'm selling my other copy because my other copy's not in the shrink. But this is really good. It belongs in the Acid Archives. If you like folk and acid folk with great vocals and harmonies, this will be right up your sleeve. Severance and Cassidy. These dudes are from New England, man. I love it. All right, next up. This one I actually picked up from a seller on Instagram. My first purchase on Instagram ever. Swamp Gas. In the shrink on Buddha Records. Great label. And if I was to describe this, this is Leonard Skinner, like a poor man's Leonard Skinner. When I say poor man's, it's not, by no means is it bad. It's great. But is it up to the quality of their first three? No. This would slide right in there as Leonard Skinner's fourth album. That's great. I mean, good, not great. But if you like Skinner and you like Southern rock, then you're going to want to own this. It's not that expensive, and it's got some really good songwriting, great vocals. Sounds just like Van Zant. Just phenomenal. Let me show you the back. So, and by no means is this bad. This is good. It's just Leonard Skinner was amazing. So, of course, it's not going to be up to that quality, but it's good. It's good. You're going to enjoy it, and you're going to thank me if you're a Skinner fan. So, if you haven't heard of Swamp Gas, check it out. I think this was 1972, maybe? I don't know. Someone will correct me. All right. Next up, I've got some heavy hitters here, and then we'll get to the last one, which I don't even know where I put it. I'll have to find it. Okay. This is a private press from Minnesota. This is David Peters. Hey there, anyone. There's the label. Cool little blank label there. There's the front in the shrink. There's the title. Looks like a nice upward picture of some tall trees. I think that might be Peters right there. Who knows? Let me show you the back. Great acid folk. Again, beautiful. Just beautiful acid folk. Right up my alley. There he is. We'll call it Loner. This is a great Loner folk album. This, I don't think this is in the Acid Archives. I'm like, why is this not in the Acid Archives? I mean, I guess you can't put everything in there. I mean, there's thousands and thousands of records out there still yet to be discovered. You can't put everything in there, I guess, but I don't think that many were pressed to this. I'm going to guess 50 to 100. There's no way there's much more than that. It's uber rare. So, super happy to have this. David W. Peters. You like acid folk, you've got to check that out. All right, next up, I'm selling my repress of this, which has actually gone. I was surprised at how expensive the repress has gotten. Let me show you this bad boy. This is amazing. The harmonies on this are so good. Keith Cross and Peter Ross, Bored Civilians. Check that out. UK first press. There. On Decca. Just stunning. Look at these dudes. Good looking guys. Stunning record. The harmonies are just to die for. You know, they're roll your eyes back in your head type of harmonies. In the songwriting, again, the best of Simon and Garfunkel, and I know I keep saying that, but Simon and Garfunkel were great. So, really good. And this album is no different. This is just phenomenal. And you want this UK first press. I'm selling the repress, which sounds good, but it's not this good. It's not UK first press good. So if you want, something that's good, grab my repress. It's online. I think I'm the cheapest online right now with it. You can reach out to me. I'll give you even a better deal. Or hold out for an original, and I think the quality is a little better there. Next up, I don't recall if I showed these yet, so I don't think I have. These I actually got online. This is Caetano Veloso. I might have shown these, and I apologize. I probably should have checked, but anyways, I'll go through them quick. These are, I love Brazilian Tropicalia and Psych, and these are just, this is so out there. This is the first album, and it's laminated, by the way, so it's really cool. This is the first album he did when he got back to Brazil after being exiled from being like a rebel. And yeah, it's great. It's so experimental for him, but there's also some really good, Psych, Samba, Tropicalia mixtures on here that I also love. But yeah, this is his most experimental album for sure. And the next one I'm going to show you, another Brazilian Tropicalia artist, is one of his more experimental, well-loved albums. So let me get to that. I think I might have shown these already. I don't know. I'm losing it. I'm not feeling well. I think I'm coming down with something. So there's that one. Not good. All right, let's put this over here so I don't block the main prize. This is the other one I wanted to show you. This is Gilberto Gil Espresso 222, and I think I did show this, so I'm going to go quick with it. Original press on Philips. Really great album. And this is the first press that actually opens, all the panels open up. And now I remember, I think I showed it, so I'm not going to bore you with that. But great album. Love it. All right. Now, what you've all been waiting for. I want to thank Joe at Joe's Albums for letting this go and allowing me to buy this. I think I reached out to several people looking for it. This artist that I'm going to show you, this album, the artist is from Massachusetts, and I've been searching for it online, of course, reaching out to people, calling record stores in his hometown and around his hometown of Marlborough, Northborough area. He lived in Worcester as well. Joe's Albums is in Worcester, Massachusetts, where this fellow lived for a little while, and he was playing in the clubs and everything. And here it is. Bob Trimble, Harvest of Dreams. Original press in the shrink. Unbelievable. I got to thank Joe for letting this go, because Joe, his record store is in Worcester, and there's something special in here I'm going to show you. Joe's had this for many, many, many years, and he said, look, it's time for you to be the custodian, and then eventually I'll pass it on when I'm gone or something. But here's the cover in the shrink. It's mint. Absolutely mint. There in the back. And the album is mint. I'll show you that. This was a radio station copy. And the radio station, I love the label, played it not often, just a few times. It was like an alternative station back in the early 80s. And how I know all this is because Joe was able to give me the, what do they call it, provenance or something. But this was in there. This is a real photograph. This is not a facsimile of Bob and the kids. So the kids were a band of kids who sang and played instruments, and they were on his albums. You can hear them in the background sometimes with, harmonies, and they even have a song on here he let them have, like a punk song. he let him do on this album. It's like a minute long, so it actually breaks it up nicely. I like it. But this is a picture of him with the kids, and then check this out in the back. This is Bob Trimble's letter to his uncle who worked at the radio station. So he actually gave this and the picture to his uncle to play, and I'm going to read what he wrote on the back. Bob Trimble. Hi, Uncle Mark. Or Mac. Could be Mac, M-A-C-K. And then he has a peace symbol. Right there, he drew a peace symbol. Dated February 1st, 1983. This album came out in 82. Here is the Harvest of Dreams LP, which we discussed over the phone. I appreciate your interest. If you could periodically mention my name and address over the air after you play a cut from the record, I would greatly appreciate it. Mention the peace poll once again. I'm not sure what the peace poll is, but mention the peace poll once again and ask anyone interested in the music or issue of peace. The two don't have to coincide if they're not into the LP. It's hard to read his writing. To write to me directly to be informed of coming events of peace, of interest. Bob, with 2 B's. Unbelievable. And I was talking to Joe today, and he said, yeah, he feels this is what makes this album special. Right here. And I guess I agree only because, there was only 300 pressed to this. So, and if you're going to find one out in the wild, if you're not going to find it online by a record dealer who someone sold it to or found it themselves, you're going to find it in Massachusetts or in New England somewhere. Could be like in a charity shop, could be anywhere. There's 300 of them. There's probably less than that now because, over time, it's been, over 40 years, they get damaged, disappear, they warp, they get tossed. Maybe there's 200, 250 left out in the wild or out in collections or in the wild, combo of the two. If you're going to find this, the best place to look is Worcester, Massachusetts. There's shops, there's thrift stores, there's record shop. And I've been looking, believe me, I've been calling. I don't live there. I live an hour and 15 minutes from there, but I've been doing my due diligence. Because those of you who are closer to me know I've been looking for this, and I actually missed out on a copy around Christmas time that Jellyfish posted, and for some reason I fell asleep on it and just lost out on it. It was gone. Jellyfish, I reached out to Jellyfish. They told me it was gone in seconds. The minute he posted it, it was gone. So that's how desirable this is. And I super appreciate Joe at Joe's Albums for letting me be the custodian of this amazing Acid Archive Psych album. One of my favorite Psych. This is in my top all-time 50s of Psych albums. Now, I'm going to give you one more little tidbit here. On the wall at Joe's Albums, he has framed Iron Curtain by Bob Trimble. The original Iron Curtain, framed. And he told me, he said, Jim, you would be shocked at how many record collectors walk right by it. They make no mention of it. He said, I was the first person to bring it up. The first person. Which blows my mind. I mean, you're in Worcester where this guy was. More people should know about him, especially record collectors. But he told me most people are looking for Police albums. So they're looking for Prince. They're not looking for Bob Trimble. So now the one on his wall is beat up a little bit. He said side 1 plays fine. Side 2 is crap. He's not ready to sell it yet, but I told him, look, when you're ready to sell it, bring it my way. But it's not for sale, unfortunately. But Iron Curtain's a lot easier to find than Harvest of Dreams because I think they printed 600 of Iron Curtain. I see double the amount of Iron Curtain sold than this one. So I know there's more Iron Curtains out there. And I know I'm going to find it eventually, especially being in New England. But hey, I'm not going to read the submission for, well, Bob Trimble. Maybe I will. Maybe I will read it. Hang on one second. Because the review in here is so incredible. So let's see. I'm going to give myself some light because I'm blind as a bat in my old age. All right, let's read it. Because the review that Aaron gave, was it Malinsky or something, is just phenomenal. So, Bob's second album is certainly his most emotionally complicated. The overall feel is stranger and less straightforward than Iron Curtain Innocence. And in some ways, it's rather disjointed. There is one song of silence and a brief punk song sung by the Kids, his backing band at the time. And once again, a repeated song, which is, by the way, the best song on the album. It's done differently a little bit, so it's okay. Where am I? Lost my track. It has the feel, nonetheless, it has the feel of a concept album where a tortured soul fights his demons, culminating in a confrontation with the devil. Along the way, there are moments of great happiness, like Premonitions, an absolutely bittersweet song with a truly sparkling folk rock sound. Let me flip the page. And melody. While Take Me Home, Vienna is pure exuberant joy, and the horrific turmoil of Armor of the Shroud sounds like the end of the world. All of it creates a musical universe unlike any other, one that never fails to leave me exhausted and energized all at the same time. Over the years, a lot of people have compared Bob to people like Jandek and Daniel Johnston, which is not only utterly clueless but downright insulting. It's like comparing Picasso to those chimpanzees who flung oil paintings, sell for big bucks, to the clueless nouveau hipster Riche. Trimble is as fine a songwriter as American music has heard, and both albums are genuine rock music masterpieces, fringe records only in the sense that Lennon's Plastic Ono Band or Joy Division's Closer are fringe records. That is, Harvest of Dreams is truly a personal work of art that tells you painfully much about the artist while retaining the hallmarks of great music, melody, creativity, hooks, and vocal beauty. Oh, one more, and a truly distinctive sound. Bob's music is so full of despair and pain that it's uplifting. The old Parallel World CD includes the entire LP except for the two atypical tracks mentioned above. There is an LP, Life Beyond the Doghouse, with later recordings. The secretly Canadian reissues are remixed and to my ears don't sound good and don't sound as good as the original, which was a very elaborate and complex recording and mix. The vinyl reissues in particular ended up sounding quite different and inferior to the 1982 LP. Do not form a final opinion of Harvest of Dreams based on those secret Canadian reissues. The 1982 original remains the definitive way to hear it. So, he is correct, and he's talking about. I'm going to show you what he's talking about. Let's see if I got him right, front and center. Yeah, he's talking about this secret Canadian reissue, which is different. It's remixed. It's got a nice. They added color to the front, and it does have a different back. It's not the same back. I already put the record in, but it's not the same back. And they added color to the front. But let me tell you, he's 100% right. This is the way to hear this album. It's more psych. It's more acid. This sounds like It sounds like the recorder, the tape was damaged or something. I don't know. It's hard to explain. But this is the way to go. I understand there's only 300 of them, and most people aren't gonna, have it to hear it. So this is the next best thing, which is fine. But that's the way you want to hear it there. And I may be selling my secret Canadian pressing. So, anyways, thanks for watching. Really appreciate you all. Great day for me. Great month of buying records and listening to records. So super excited. Appreciate everyone. If you like what you see here, please hit that bell. Please subscribe. Please comment. Sorry for the length of the video, but hopefully you got all the way through it to the end. Appreciate everyone. Take care.